Here's a quick question. If you invest $100,000 at 5% per annum for 1 year, how much interest do you earn? Is it A, $5,000? B, more than $5,000? C, less than $5,000? Or D, it depends? Yes, the correct answer, unfortunately, is D, it depends. Now, before anyone panics, in principle, interest calculations are straightforward. The general formula is the interest rate payment equals principal amount times interest rate times day count fraction. So, intuitively, you have 3 moving parts. First, you got the principal. That's just the amount you lend or invest. Second, you got the interest rate, the annualized rate you're being quoted. And third, you got this piece that makes people suspicious, the day count fraction. So what is that? Well, interest rates in markets are generally quoted per annum, meaning per year. But you don't always lend money for exactly 1 year. So if you lend money for half a year, you shouldn't get the full annual interest. You should get about half of it. And that's exactly what the day count fraction does. It adjusts the annual interest rate so you only get paid for the length of the actual interest period. So far, so good. But now you might ask, hang on, in our example, the investment period is just 1 full year, so the day count fraction should be 1, right? And this is where the answer is still, it depends. Because markets don't all count time in the same way. There are different conventions for how we measure days in the period and what we treat as a year. And those conventions are called day count conventions. In practice, you will constantly run into a handful of standard ones, and the big names to recognize are things like actual, actual 360, actual 365, and 30-360. But what do those mean? Well, the first part, which is the one on the left of the forward slash, describes how we measure the days in the period. The second part tells us how many days we assume a year has under that convention. And the day count fraction is simply days in the period divided by days in the year. So for example, actual means we calculate the actual number of days between the start date and end date and divide by the actual number of days in the year. 30-360 means we calculate the number of days in the period, assuming every month has 30 days. And because the year has 12 months, we therefore assume that the year has 360 days. Now, this is clearly removed from reality, but historically, before spreadsheets, it was a convenient simplification of the math. And just because finance can't resist it, both actual and 30-360 come in slightly different flavors depending on the market standard. 30-360, for example, has a US and a European version, and actual also has variants, for example, an ISDA version. The differences are usually quite small and a bit too detailed for this video, but if you want the specifics, feel free to message me. But one detail that's definitely worth knowing, because it catches people out and applies to every day count convention. By convention, you typically earn interest for the start date, but not for the end date. So if an investment starts on July 13th and ends on July 14th, that's 1 day of interest, not 2. With all that in mind, let's now go back to our original example, investing $100,000 for 1 year at 5% per annum. And to calculate the day count fraction and the actual interest payment, we need the start date and the end date. So let's assume we invested on 30th of July 2023, and the money plus interest is repaid exactly 12 months later, on the 13th of July 2024, with an annual interest payment. And if you're thinking, why not update the dates to something more recent? That is a fair question. But 2024 was a leap year, and leap years make day count conventions just a little more interesting. All right, here's a spreadsheet for the example. At the top, I'm setting the inputs, the investment amount, which is 100,000, and the interest rate, which is 5% per annum. And we're assuming the coupon is paid annually, so we're calculating just one single interest payment. Next, we need the dates. Here's the start date, 13th of July 2023. And the end date is 13th of July 2024. That gives us a clean one-year example, but with a small twist. The period includes a leap day. To calculate the day count fraction, we then first calculate the number of days in the interest period. First, let's calculate the actual days. The days act cell is simply the end date minus the start date. Now, Excel stores dates as numbers, so subtracting them gives the number of days between the two dates. In this case, that comes out as 366 days. Next, we calculate the 3360 style day count using Excel's Days 360 function. That gives us 360 days because under 3360, we assume each month has 30 days. So a year is always 360 days, regardless of the calendar. So at this point, we have two different day counts for the exact same period. 366 actual days or 360 days under 3360. Now, we turn day counts into fractions of a year. Let's start with actual. Here, we take days act and divide by 366 because in this case, the year has 366 days. So 366 divided by 366 equals 1. Meaning, under actual, this particular 1 year period counts as exactly 1 year. Next, actual 360. Here, we take the actual number of days, 366, and divide by 360. That gives us 1.016667. So under actual 360, this 1 year period is treated as slightly more than 1 year. Then comes actual 365. 366 divided by 365 gives 1.002739. So it's also slightly above 1, but much less extreme than actual 360. And then finally, 3360. Here, the days are counted using days 360 and then divided by 360 as well. So 360 divided by 360 equals 1. So 3360 also treats this as exactly 1 year, just using a simplified calendar. Now, I also included a second way to calculate the fractions using Excel's built-in yearfrac function. Yearfrac calculates a year fraction between two dates based on a chosen basis. So depending on which basis you pick, yearfrac corresponds to different day count conventions. The point of this column is really just to show that you can do it manually using day counts, or you can use yearfrac. Either way, you get the same result. Now, we plug those day count fractions into the interest formula, which was notional times interest rate times day count fraction. And now you can see why the answer to the original question was, it depends. Using the same 100,000, the same 5%, and the same 1 year period, you get different interest payments dependent on the day count convention. Under actual, it's exactly 5,000. Under actual 360, it's $5,083.33. Under actual 365, it's $5,013.70. And under 3360, it's again $5,000. So yes, even when someone says 5% for 1 year, the cash payment can still differ. So the key takeaway is simple. If you're comparing two interest-paying instruments, it's not enough to compare their headline rate. You also want to check the day count convention because that affects the actual cash payment. And in practice, if conventions differ, You either calculate the payments explicitly, like we've just done, or you convert the interests into a common day count basis before comparing. Next week, we'll look at the next small detail that impacts interest rate payments. What happens when payments fall on weekends or holidays?